Good evening, everyone. Welcome here to Richmond for round 7 of the 2022 championship season. Dylan Schwallenberg, who dominated last week at Charlotte, leading 86 of the 100 laps, took pole position. Mercedes had took pole for 5 consecutive weeks, and that has been stopped. No Mercedes, as far as I can see, inside the top 10. We have a good one for you today. Richmond usually is always very exciting. Schwallenberg and Turner, Charlie Smith, Richard Johnson, Eric DeMax. That is the top 5. Jake Bassinger starting 6, trying to hold on to the championship lead. Schwallenberg brings the field to green when we're racing at Richmond. Charlie Smith was able to push himself up into second position past Jesse Turner. Turner trying to cross back under. Eric DeMax, it's been a poor showing in the first 6 races for CM Racing. And DeMax is trying to give CM Racing something to cheer about here at Richmond. A good qualifying result, hoping to turn that result into a good result for today. Richard Johnson sliding backwards. Anthony Marchese in the 54 down the inside of Jake Bassinger. Inside line is moving. They're 3 wide midfield. Jeffrey White to the inside of Charles Sanford. Cody Lamas mid-pack. James Orfox, Ryan Griffin. We'll look at some guys further back that didn't qualify all too well this season. Has had a lot of drivers not qualify all the best. Dejon Weeks last week started dead last of all the cars that qualified. He charged his way up the 10th. James Shelley's back here. Looking for some guys. There's Dom Capps. DJ Kurtis in car 19. He's all the way up to 32nd now. He didn't qualify all the best. Dylan Young's back here in the TPR car. Nick Mace had to use a provisional for the 2nd week in a row to make the race. Daniel Bouchard's back here. Stephen Poe III. Matthew Rodriguez and Samuel England. England qualified 2nd, finished 25th last week. Hoping to go from last to first this time. And even further back, Zachary Fitzwater and John Arndt. Arndt has not had the best season and is not looking all that good right now. Jeff James racing alongside of Alex Peñaco in car 18. Peñaco in the 8. He's another driver, like we mentioned, teammates with Eric DeMax. DeMax holding in strong right now ahead of Richard Johnson in 4th position. CM Racing, you know, they won the championship in 2020, the driver's title at least. And 2 years on, and they are proper struggling, really. Mid-pack car on average. Alex Peñaco's been able to pick up some top 10s here and there. He's running in the top 10 right now against Sean Harple. Harple's had a great season to start. Enters this race, actually I think he enters this race 8th in the point standings. Just behind him, Dejon Weeks. Comes in this race only 13 points behind Jake Bassinger. Bassinger hasn't had the best of luck here at Richmond in the past. In 2020, he got injured at this racetrack and had to miss Talladega the next week. And that took a lot of points and momentum out of his championship bid and ultimately hurt him in that season. This is back-to-back weeks that Will Goss and Vince Freeze have qualified well and are running inside the top 15. And Freeze, you know, where is he at in the point standings? He is 25th in points. You know, he had a solid outing at Charlotte. He was able to jump to 25th in the point standings. Will Goss in the 51 enters this race on the top 30 cut line in owner points. Just barely locked in today for Richmond. Good qualifying effort, trying to get maximum points as much as he can get. Goss enters this race 29th in the point standings, so it's good to see Goss and Freeze picking up the pace and showing some speed here at Richmond. He's for 4th position. Here comes Richard Johnson and Jake Bassinger. Bassinger's going to try and take 2 cars at once, going from 6th position to 4th. And Jake Bassinger, the championship leader, a top 5 finish out there at Charlotte last week. Extended his advantage to 2nd position in points by 13 over Dejon Weeks. And Jake Bassinger has been Mr. Consistent. 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 5 top 10s in 6 starts But round 7, he's looking to put his 6th top 10 on the season and try and get another victory with it. Eric Damax trying to fight back against Richard Johnson. Benyako and Anthony Marchese continue to race hard. That is a position for 8. Weeks has Jeff James and Zayden Davidson behind him. Top 12 breaking away. Freeze and White doing a good battle there for 13th. And they're 3 wide further back. Here comes Ryan Griffin. Griffin, the 2019 winner at Richmond, to the inside of Charles Sanford. Will Goss trying to fight it sideways with Joseph Shrigley. And that actually helped Goss. Here comes Goss up the middle. Flipside Motorsports getting their elbows out this season. Then doing a really good job in their first ever Sony Cup Series season. Be top 30 in owner points. That's probably the goal for this team, is to be top 30 in owner points. Let Will Goss get that experience under his belt. And here comes Shrigley. He's going to try and get to the inside of Ryan Griffin. He's going to do that. Ryan Griffin in the 3. I don't think we talked about it at Charlotte, but it come as a surprise right before the race. Griffin will not be back with CM Racing or back full-time at all in the Sony Cup Series. A lot of people expect that Griffin will be focusing a lot on the Great Lakes Motorsports organization. Logan Cloud and that team have been outstanding in this season. But Griffin, man, he struggled out at Charlotte. Didn't get outside the top 30 until the very end of the race. Was able to just barely finish inside the top 30. That is a run that you would not expect to see from CM Racing. They have been the most vocal in the media that how their performance is just plain unacceptable. And for a team that won the championship 2 seasons ago, I would say so myself. Race for second position is building. Here comes Jesse Turner to the inside of Charlie Smith. I think it's very hard to remember that the top 3 have broke away, and there's been no battles between the top 3. It has been nose to tail, Schwallenberg, Smith, and Turner. But Jesse Turner, the defending champion, has not had a good 2022 season to start. 6 races into the 2022 season, and Turner is winless coming into Richmond. You know, it's been 6 races now that Turner has not won a race, and that's kind of when you go 6 races without winning, it starts becoming quite of a shock when you've won 10 times the season prior. And Turner is the 3rd best, or actually, second best car in the point standings in the Turner Performance team. Thought James Shelley was a bit higher, but he's also struggled as well. Turner Performance Racing, besides Jake Bassinger, has not had a very good season. But Jake Bassinger in the 97 trying to creep in. Richard Johnson's holding on to the top 5 position. Alex Benyako creeping his way forward. He's up to 6th place now with Damax, Harple, Weeks, and Davis in the top 10. Where is, there he is, Anthony Marchese. He has dropped outside of the top 10, losing some positions. Marchese was another one of those that had a very terrible run at Charlotte. Was really nowhere, and he was racing Ryan Griffin down in the 30s. And it's good to see Marchese back up at the front where he needs to be. Zayden Davidson looking to pick his way off through another position. Here comes Davidson to the inside of Dejon Weeks. Weeks has just been hanging around at the bottom of the top 10. Not been able to make up a whole lot of places. Davidson's passed, and he's up to 9. Jesse Turner has been working that back end of Dylan Schwallenberg, trying to get him loose, but he gets loose himself. Turner loose off turn 2. Here comes Charlie Smith. Smith the inside, his Horizon Group Thrasher Pontiac. And Charlie Smith has had a great run this weekend. Smith has not had the best of runs this season. His teammate is top 10 in the point standings, and Smith enters this race all the way down in 23rd in the point standings. He jumped 5 spots at Charlotte. He was 28 2 weeks ago in the point standings. And Smith, he doesn't even have a top 10 run this entire season. His teammate's been picking off top 10s week in and week out, while Charlie Smith has just been outside the top 10, picking up an average finish of 24th every race. And Smith is up into 2nd position and looking very competitive tonight, racing against Schwallenberg, Turner, and Bassinger. Bassinger is closing the gap. Richard Johnson continues to hold 5th strongly over Benyako, Damax, Harpole, Davidson, and Weeks. But what a good run tonight by Charlie Smith. Matthew Rodriguez and Dylan Young qualified the worst of everyone on pole day, and they started 37th and 38th, and they're currently running 28th and 29th. So we're coming up on a third of the way through the race, and Rodriguez and Dylan Young have not been able to make up a whole lot of positions. Up in front of Rodriguez, it's Ace Wild in 27th. Then a race for 25th. It's between Cole Baker and Chris Dodd. Peter Onjak's doing a pretty good job tonight. He's in 24th position. His teammate's down in the 30s. And then Ryan Acosta, his Mace Enterprises car, he's doing a phenomenal job ahead of Nick Mace. Mace is down there in 39th. And Ryan Acosta's in 23rd. And then this is the highest running Red Bull on the track, Charles Sanford. And then DJ Kurtis, who also didn't qualify all that well, is in 21st, trying to get past of Cody Lamas. Lamas hasn't been able to make any positions up since the start of the race. Passing has been tough to do here at Richmond tonight. Dirty air has been a factor for a lot of these guys, but it's all about getting that traction up the corner, and a lot of guys are struggling to get off of turn 2 and 4. 7th on down to 10th is racing really hard with each other. Harpole, DeMax, Davidson, and Weeks. Eric DeMax is putting up a good fight. His CM Racing car has really been hard to drive in the first 6 races. Eric DeMax has described it as being a really tough car, and top 20s has been ultimately the goal in the last couple of weeks for CM Racing. And, well, you see they're in the top 10, and they have one of the best lineups in Benyako, DeMax, and Griffin. And it's no surprise to me that these guys are able to pull off some phenomenal runs in tonight's race here at Richmond. This is a driver's track, Richmond is. And Alex Benyako giving it a good ride. Eric DeMax is as well. Ryan Griffin all the way down to 19th. Still doing a solid job. Right there around his affiliate teammates of Cody Lamas, who's down to 21st. And Jeffrey White down to 15th. And lap down car, Zachary Fitzwater at the lead, has shaken up the top 4 just a little bit. Turner got loose behind Charlie Smith, racing with Zachary Fitzwater. And Jake Bassinger, the championship leader, is up to 3rd. This Rodriguez Racing Camry has been on fire at the front, dominating Charlotte, and here at Richmond tonight has led every lap since the word go for the green flag. And Charlie Smith just behind him, the unlikeliest of rivals to battle him for the lead, is right there if he makes a mistake. And Schwallenberg has to be loving what he's seen. He was so thrilled with his performance at Charlotte, probably the most dominant performance we've ever seen from Dylan Schwallenberg. He's carrying that momentum into tonight's race at Richmond. And Charlie Smith, this team with Horizon Group, won with Jeffrey Lynn all the way back in was it 2020? I think it was 2020. Jeffrey Lynn in the 76. Lynn beat Ryan Acosta with a last lap pass in that car 76. And Charlie Smith has never won a race in the Sony Cup Series, period. And I think he has the most starts of any Sony Cup Series driver without a win. And, well, he's got a good car tonight to be able to do that. James Shelley further back, trying to move his way up another position, but you see the outside line really kicking in. It's very tough for these drivers to make any passes. You have to have a much better car than the guy in front of you if you're going to make that move. James Shelley, it's been a hit or miss season so far for Shelley in the 71 team. Shelley enters this race. Does he enter this race 20th in points? Yes, he does. The first time all season James Shelley has entered the top 20 in points. The California winner. That just goes to show you, he won a race and he's still that far down in the point standings. He's by Jeffrey White to the inside, gonna bring Will Goss with him. And Goss has impressed me this season. You know, that 51 car, getting some help from Cybertron Motorsports in UER. That's a Mercedes outfit. And he's beating Kurtis and Griffin and going to the inside of Jeffrey White. One of the strongest Rookie of the Year candidates in Will Goss. He may be able to put up a good fight against one of the others like Peter Onjak and Samuel England. I'd argue that England has the better car of all the Rookie of the Year contenders, but he hasn't been able to beat a lot of his Rookie of the Year candidates. You know, the point standings of the rookies, Samuel England is 28th in points, Peter Onjak's 35th, and Will Goss is right there, only 1 point behind Samuel England entering this race. Well, Will Goss, I thought he was going to be one of the unlikeliest of ones to fight for the Rookie of the Year honors, but that Flipside car has been pretty solid in the first 6 rounds and even solid for round 7. Allison Rain holding up Dylan Schwallenberg. Here comes Charlie Smith. Lap down cars are going to be a pain in the rear end in this race. Nearly contact with Bassinger to Smith. Charlie Smith trying to take the lead. Oh, at the line. They were dead even at the line. I'm sitting here trying to remember when the last time Charlie Smith led was. It's been a while. We don't usually see Charlie Smith racing with the leaders. This is unlikely territory for Charlie Smith. Only a handful of times in his career has Charlie Smith had to sniff the lead and racing at the lead. And Charlie Smith takes the lead from Dylan Schwallenberg. And here comes Jesse Tunner, gonna follow him through. Tunner trying to fight his way to the second position, but Schwallenberg battling back from the top side. Jake Bassinger is gonna help him though to the inside. And Tunner is going to take second place. Soon as I say that as well. Jake Bassinger has got to the inside of Jesse Tunner. The leaders are racing hard. Allison Rain really kicking up that dirty air like we mentioned. And it's making it hard for the front runners that had that clean air. Allison Rain trying to fight back and get her lap back. Tunner and Bassinger continue to race side by side for second place. Charlie Smith trying to pull the gap on Jake Bassinger, who has entered second place. And we're fixing to come up on more lap down cars. Before we get to them, I want to say what a poor running it is for some of these guys. Dom Caps is the next car to get lapped. And Dom Caps, he's season 6 champion. And you gotta think he's like the leader of Martin Motorsports at that team. Vince Freeze is his protege. And this has not been a good race for Dom Caps. Jacob Hart racing with Matt DeLeo. That is for 38th position. Nick Mays, the most wins all time in the series. And 2 championships, a Daytona 500 win, Darlington winner, Indianapolis 250 winner, you name it. And Nick Mays has won it. He's 37th. Bouchard Racing Art, that is for 35th. That is kind of, these are not the runs we would usually see. For John Art's 43, Nick Mace's 20, Jacob Hart 61, and then Dom Caps as well. And Samuel England in 31st. No, this is not the run of races. The performance we would not usually see for some of these guys. Matt Rodriguez and Dylan Young, they have not made any progress. We're halfway in the race, and they're 28th and 29th. 5th place all the way down to 9th, trying to get around Allison Rain. And here comes Davidson to the inside of Richard Johnson. Benyako trying to cut over in front of Dejon Weeks. 3 wide momentarily. Richard Johnson up top. Allison Rain's just got a good enough car to hold these guys off. And Rain trying to cut over in front of Davidson again. Davidson's going to get his nose in there. Weeks again to the inside of Benyako. Eric Demaxis fell off of this battle for 9th. He's the last car in the top 10. Then it's Shrigley, James, Freeze, Silver Fox, and Shelley. And then how about Anthony Marchese slowly dropping down the running order. Marchese's down to 16th. Then it's Goss, White, Kurtis, and Griffin. Lamas is falling backwards. Lamas in the 48's down to 23rd. No real change up at the front, though. They're still 3 wide around Allison Rain. But it's Jake Bassinger closing the gap on Charlie Smith, the first of the leaders. Alex Benyako coming down pit road on lap 88. Pit strategy is going to be big tonight. Undercutting at Charlotte was only done by 1 lap. And immediately after 1 lap of undercutting at Charlotte, everyone followed. And tonight, I don't know what it's going to be like. If everyone's going to try and stay out a little bit longer like they did in Phoenix, But a lot of guys are down on pit road. Here comes Jake Bassinger and Jesse Turner. Charlie Smith has stayed out 2 laps longer than Alex Bignacco, but they're stacking up in front of him. Here comes Dom Capps out of nowhere. I think he might have not met the blend line. And there is a penalty here at Richmond if you do not meet the blend line. That cone, that little cone right there, coming down pit road. You get penalties if you don't make it. So that is an interesting little thing that some drivers have struggled with in the past. And Charlie Smith, the leader, is on pit road. Looks like everyone's on pit road. Bassinger leaves with the advantage over Jesse Turner. The undercut. He only pitted 1 lap later than Alex Bignacco. Was not going to allow Bignacco to be able to get that undercut on the front runners at the lead. But where is Bassinger going to line up an advantage? There's Charlie Smith. Smith, I think, came down pit road at the worst possible time. He was very slow entering pit road because of the lap down cars, and he's going to lose a ton of positions. Here's a replay of Jake Bassinger getting on pit road. A very clean entrance to pit road. Nobody was slow in front of him. It allowed him, Turner, and Schwallenberg to be able to get down pit road the quickest. The next lap, Smith and team got down pit road, but he had to slow up a ton for Matt DeLeo, and you see how much that cost him. And no matter how quick his pit crew might have been, it doesn't matter. Charlie Smith in the 76 team lost a lot of time on entrance and gave up positions there as the field is trying to cycle out a little bit. Some guys are still sort of pitting, but everything is sort of cycled through. Bassinger is the leader over Jesse Turner in third, or actually second. Third is Dylan Schwallenberg. Then it's Charlie Smith. Pit calls. It ruined Dylan Schwallenberg's chances last season, and this season Charlie Smith was the leader in a good position. Just a really bad pit call. Came down pit road with at the worst time. In 5th place is Dejon Weeks. That team did a good job getting him on and off pit road. He's in 5th position. Then it's Davidson 6th. Then Bignacco in 7th. 8th Hartwell. Then it's Shrigley and Jeff James. That's the top 10. Then James Sorfox and DeMax. That's 11th and 12th. And DeLeo's on pit road for a long time there in the 88. 71 of James Shelley, 13th. Richard Johnson had a poor stop getting on and off pit road. He's in 14th, and it's Griffin 15th. He's made up a few positions. Vince Freeze down to 16th. DJ Kurtis up to 17th. How about Peter Onjak in the top 20? He's in 18th. Then it's Cody Lamas in 19th, and Charles Sanford is in 20th. We'll take you through the field for you. Logan Cloud getting on and off pit road. Marchese's 11th. Then it's Jeffrey White. He's down a few positions in 12th. Ace Wild. Cole Baker. Dylan Young very loose. Oh, there's a crash! A spin! And it's Jeff James in the 18! Jeff James was running in 11th. And Matt DeLeo blends up in front of Jeff James and collects Dom Capps. Jeff James was racing for the top 10 positions and got taken out. Unreal. Jeff James was in 10th position at the time. Just got into the door of Matt DeLeo. We've seen this a couple of times before with pit stops. And DeLeo was held on pit road for the blend line rule. Or that or speeding on pit road. We're not entirely sure, but he was held on pit road. And DeLeo, ruins Jeff James's night. Going to be coming back to the restart. Jake Bassinger, the Daytona 500 champion and the point leader, leads us back to racing again with less than 50 laps to go. All the lap down cars to the inside, and you have to get to the inside. That's the thing. The inside line is huge. You have to get down there. We're going to see some aggressive racing. Jesse Turner, Jake Bassinger stuck up top, but Bassinger's found an opening behind Blake Warren. And the affiliate team car, Jacob Hart, the 61, not doing any favors for Jesse Turner. And Jake Bassinger trying to become the first two-time winner of this season, first multi-winner of this season. And Jesse Turner trying to get his win on the board. Winless in 2022 so far, trying to find an opening to the inside. Dejon Weeks finding a way to the inside. And car 30, Weeks is been able to get out of that Hornet's nest that's just behind him. 3 wide lap cars, double file to the inside. Davidson round the outside in that 3 wide. But it's Charlie Smith, Schwallenberg, and Turner. 3 cars up top, and Jacob Hart really not giving Jesse Turner any favors. Blake Warren trying to keep his lap back, trying to stay on the tail end of the lead lap. And Bassinger trying to pull the advantage. Jacob Hart creeping out ahead of Jesse Turner. Hart wants to try and run down Jake Bassinger, but it's really hindering Turner. Turner is fuming. He cannot be happy with that. Trying to get his first win of the season. They are nearly bumping off each other. I saw Shrigley and Harpo make contact. Harpo to the inside of Joseph Shrigley for 7th position. Ben Yako trying to hang on to a top 10 run. Vince Freeze has entered the top 10. How about Vince Freeze at 25? His teammate of Dom Caps has been down in 40th. And here's Vince Freeze battling back ahead of Eric DeMax for 10th position. Kurtis, who has been nowhere, is entered 12th, trying to get in the top 10. Griffin, Sanford, and how about Richard Johnson? He has fell down the running order some. And poor old Dom Caps, his teammate's thriving while he's, not doing all the best. But Ben Yako thought about making a move to the inside of Shrigley, just a little too far back. Dejon Weeks to the inside of Charlie Smith, trying to make this pass for 4th place. Turner sitting out behind Dylan Schwallenberg, who is now up to 2nd position. Vince Freeze is really on the move here in the 25 car. To the inside of Harple, he is up to 9th and looking for 8th. Looks like he's actually going to be able to get it done, too. Shrigley racing with Davidson. That's a position for 6. 6 all the way down to what is 12th position. A Hornet's Nest back here. The inside lines proved to be the best line here on the restart. For the top side, as it kicks in, it's also a pretty sturdy line. But Shrigley's got the advantage over Davidson. Harple stuck up top, battling back against Vince Freeze. Kurtis has been nowhere in this race. And he's looking to get in the top 10, the inside of Benyako to move up to 10th. We were just cutting away, but look at this. Look how sideways the 86 gets off turn 4. I'm telling you, if you don't think these guys are racing hard, they are racing aggressively with each other. Shrigley trying to get away from this battle, trying to get past of Logan Cloud and Nick Mace and get away from this pack. Look, Davidson turned in a little too early. It's going to allow Harpo to draw along even. Oh, they're 3 wide. That is for 10th position between Benyako, Freeze, and DeMax. DeMax just a little too far back. And Griffin, his CM Racing car. The CM Racing boys right now 11th, 12th, and 13th. They'd like to be a couple spots higher. But Kurtis in the 19 racing with Harpo. And looks like Benyako's fought his way back into the top 10. With 20 laps to go, Dylan Schwallenberg and Jesse Turner stand the closest challenge to Jake Bassinger's chances of winning tonight. Bassinger stuck behind Blake Warren. Can't really go a whole lot quicker. Blake Warren is dictating the run of this race. I don't believe we'll have lap traffic to deal with. We may have Fitzwater and company. But Bassinger has a solid margin. He pulled the gap there last lap on Dylan Schwallenberg. Jesse Turner and Charlie Smith is back into 4th. Then it's Weeks in 5th. Davidson has moved his way now up down to 6th. 7th is Sean Harple. 8th is Joseph Shrigley. 9th, Alex Benyako. And 10th is DJ Kurtis. Vince Freeze just behind in 11th. Then it's Silver Fox 12th. DeMax, White, Shelley. Young has moved his way up to 16th after being nowhere all day. Oh, he nearly made contact with Shelley. Sanford there. Ryan Griffin has fell back a ways into 18th. And there's Matthew Rodriguez and Richard Johnson. Cody Lamas has not went anywhere today. He's been struggling tonight under the lights at Richmond. Matthew Rodriguez and Dylan Young, they started all the way back there in row 18. Actually, row 19 in 37th and 38th. And slowly but surely, they've entered the top 20, trying to do damage control. Not doing as well as Dejon Weeks last week and Chris Dodd. But It's just been very tough to make passes here at Richmond. Charlie Smith is slowing in turn 2. Charlie Smith Horizon Group car has stalled. I don't know if it's an engine failure or what, but his car has stopped off of turn 2. I think we're going to get a caution flag. Caution flag is out at Richmond with 8 laps to go. Oh my goodness, that's a heartbreak for Charlie Smith. Smith in the 76, if he hadn't have had that problem with pit stops, could have won today's race. He was sitting in 4th position with less than 10 laps to go, in a great position today to try and get his best finish all year. And it's a tough break. Charlie Smith could be out of it. Here's a replay of what happened. Smith riding in forward and in 4th, just ahead of Dejon Weeks. Wow, he nearly took out Dejon. Got to the apron. I don't know what it is. Maybe he had a battery issue. The car going dead on him. No smoke out the car just will not go. And he has stopped it up for turn 2, and the yellow flag is out with less than 10 laps to go. Well, this is going to change everything. Jake Bassinger is going to lead the race with 4 laps to go. Schwallenberg needs a good restart here if he's going to get him. Passing has been very difficult all race. This is your one last chance. Turner is going to try with all his might, but I think Schwallenberg may be the only best chance to try and get Bassinger at the end. But it's Bassinger with the jump on Schwallenberg. What a restart by Jake Bassinger. Out of everybody in this top 5, it is Davidson and Turner that are the only drivers that have yet to win in 2022. The front 2 of Schwallenberg and Bassinger are trying to be the first 2-ton winner this season. Weeks is fighting against Turner to the inside for the last place on the podium. It is Weeks racing against Turner, and I think that's them done for them racing for the win tonight. Freeze further back, racing with Kurtis for 9th. Shrigley's trying to get another position against Davidson. Harple's up to 5th. But for the leaders with 2 laps to go, Schwallenberg dominated at Charlotte. Led the opening laps until Charlie Smith got by him. And then Jake Bassinger used strategy to get out ahead. After passing Schwallenberg and being behind Smith, lap down cars held up Schwallenberg just enough. White flag is out. Jake Bassinger, the Daytona 500 champion, has had a solid year all season. Very consistent runs all year. And Jake Bassinger is going to be the first 2-time winner in 2022, leading home Schwallenberg. And it's Jake Bassinger taking the checker flag at Richmond. It is Jake Bassinger, Schwallenberg, and Dejon Weeks pips Jesse Turner to the podium. 4th place for Jesse Turner. 5th is Sean Harple. Joseph Shrigley in 6th. 7th, Zayden Davidson. Alex Benyako gets on the top 10 places. Good run for Benyako. Kurtis, after being nowhere all day, gets a top 10 run. And how about Jeffrey White? Where did he come from? Jeffrey White in the 11. And here's how Jeffrey White scored his first top 10 of the season. Jeffrey White got to the outside of Vince Freeze. The inside line's been where you wanted to be all day. The white flag was given. And Jeffrey White in car 11 got position on Vince Freeze. And this is one of the rare times I've seen a pass made on the top side, but this was a close finish for 10th. Jeffrey White's been close this season. Vince Freeze got a top 10 in the Daytona 500 and was very close to getting another top 10, but right here at the line, just barely, Jeffrey White at the line to get his first top 10 of the season. And an attaboy to Jeffrey White for getting that position and being very smart with it. He went to the outside and made that pass. But it's Jake Bassinger that has scored the win today. The Daytona 500 champion has scored another victory and has extended his advantage in the championship by 20 points. I think it's 20 points over Dejon Weeks. Either way, Dejon's done good enough to be second in the point standings again to Jake Bassinger. Congratulations again to Jake Bassinger on scoring another victory in 2022. Let's get you to our finishing results and standings after Richmond.